petty, petty. Most of these bitches is 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 petty. Most of these petty. Most of these bitches is petty. 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 Most of these bitches is petty.
Yes, it's your girl Petty Paige back at it again with yet another video for you hoes. Oh my god guys, I swear to effing god, I am so sorry for not uploading content for the past couple of days. I actually really want to upload content like 2 days ago, but then something really weird happened and you need to believe me when I tell you this, okay? So basically, believe me, it's not a lie, right? So basically what happened was, I went to the bathroom and after I washed my hands, I like to put hand sanitizer on my hands. Hand sanitizer has become like literally a part of my daily routine every single day now. A, because I have a toddler, and B, because that coronavirus, honey, she's no joke. Anyway, my dumb ass decided to literally slap down the handle of my hospital grade hand sanitizer and it literally bounced off my hand and went pew into my eye. So for the past couple of days, I swear to God, I've looked like this. And there was absolutely no way that with my hyperpigmentation that I would be coming on camera without any makeup on. So for that reason, that's why I've been away. But I am back now. My eye is somewhat healed. It's still a bit sore, but we're doing okay. And I know my sob story, my X Factor sob story. So with that being said, today we are going to be talking about Keemstar. This video is primarily to do with Keemstar rather than the allegations that was put forward by this young lady towards Jake Paul, but we will be delving into that only a little bit. But primarily this video is only going to be about Keemstar. Now don't, wait, hold on a second. Do not click off this video because of what I have to say about Keemstar. I truly believe is extremely important and why I think he's a cancerous piece of garbage human being on this entire planet. And honestly, at this point, we should just throw the whole human away. Today, we are going to be tackling topics such as why does he have a visceral hate for women in general? What is his problem with strong, aforementioned women? And how does a man who actually has a daughter, a child of his own, who would be considered as quote unquote vulnerable in a lot of these situations, how does he have the audacity, I'm sorry, the caucasity, that could essentially be extremely harmful to women in general and potentially put them in an unsafe position? So with that being said, if you guys are interested in what it is that I have to say about Keemstar and some of the stuff it is that he's said over the past couple of days on social media and why I believe that it shouldn't go unheard of on a much bigger platform such as YouTube, and even with my low ass views and even with my small ass community, I will still speak my mother truth. But if you are interested in hearing what I've got to say in today's video, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like it, as well as hitting that subscribe button with the notification bell and click all notifications so you never miss a notification from the Petty Paige channel. With that being said, we're going to go straight into this week's advert and it's from yours truly, from Dramatic Boutique. Oh my god, okay, it's another advert. I'm giving you a different look this week. I'm using the primary colour of Demonetize from the No More Nudes palette. Now this April is Awareness Month, and as you guys know, this is a brand that is funded entirely by work, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows that no means no, and especially in lieu of all of the drama it is that I have been covering. A lot of it is a lot of triggering topics. I thought what would be better than to do a promotion on Dramatic Boutique that not only helps you save money in your pockets but hopefully will help some victims in the future. So what we are doing for Awareness Month, that is the entire month of April, we will be giving you guys 20% off everything site-wide on a Dramatic Boutique website. But not only that, we will be price matching that with an additional 20% that will be going to a charity. So 20% that you save goes 20% into the survivorstrust.org. I really hope that we'll be able to make a sizable donation. So if you do want to buy anything from Dramatic Boutique with your 20% off, please make sure that you go over to www.dramaticboutique.com and use code SURVIVOR at checkout. We are opening this up early, so you can start purchasing and using the code from now, but thank you so much for everybody's continued support of Dramatic Boutique. I really appreciate it. Okay, so I, like many others on the internet, have had this long-standing hatred of Keemstar. Although he does come out with some quite decent commentary every so often, even a broken clock gets it right twice a day, honey. But besides that, for the most part, I don't really co-sign anything that Keemstar says, because I think he's just one big fat raging misogynist. However, I did still follow Homeslice on social media because he's quite a prevalent character, especially within the drama community as a whole. That cannot be taken away from him. That's why I believe it is so incredibly important for Keemstar to be so much more responsible with his platform. But before I get into the most recent story and some of the most disgusting things it is that Keemstar has had to say to date, let me tell you about why I got my ass blocked by Keemstar. Which, I know, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. It wasn't just like, it wasn't a block for me. I feel like this block was for the community. And I'm just really grateful for the honor. Thank you. But honestly, nothing makes me happier than making men cry. It's like my favorite pastime. So a few days ago, probably even over a week ago on social media, I retweeted a post made by Jessie Smiles. If you do not know about the Jessie Smiles situation, there are plenty of videos that will give you all the information, where she called out directly to Keemstar in a notepad attachment, where she basically said that Keemstar is an awful person and that she was sick of people like him not listening to her victims, even when in her personal case she got vindicated with a confession from the perpetrator. I retweeted it the other day with something along the lines of, just in case you were wondering, Keemstar doesn't care about, you know, survivors or victims or whatever it is that I said, something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing because I don't want to get my phone out. And just a quick side note to the whole like Jessie Smiles situation, there was a lot of people who were like, I can't believe that you brought up a victims even though they didn't want it to be talked about anymore on social media. And honestly, there was a lot of people who were saying it is so wrong and so incredibly bad for us to talk about that happened, that was made public by the accuser as well as the victim, as well as all across a bunch of different news platforms, as well as using a retweet of an old tweet from 2018 in order to talk about somebody who is literally a cancer on the community, such as Keemstar, and his response to victims whenever they come out with their allegations, because the other person may not want their trauma brought back up. And whilst I understand, especially as a victim of myself, that bringing up the trauma can stir up terrible memories, I truly believe that anybody who has taken that position to take that stand should also be able to maintain that stand. Because if we were going to go by that same rhetoric, by that same opinion, do you not think that the same could be said for somebody like Rihanna, whose domestic case gets brought up every single time that Chris Brown finds himself in more controversy? Or what about all of the black people who have lost their lives to such as George Floyd, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, etc., etc.? Do you not think the families get traumatized every single time they are brought up when a new black life has been lost at the hands of? You can't sit there and say that one is okay but the other isn't. And it literally only took like a couple of days, we are talking like 2 or 3 days later, for him to literally take another victim and make them out to be a liar, when there is no evidence proving that they're a liar and there is no evidence proving that they're not. But I digress. People love to make me the villain on the internet. Love to make me the villain. Anyway, for some reason, this tweet of mine ended up gaining traction. Kat Tembage of The Insider had left some messages underneath it, as well as Ethan Klein from H3H3, and some other more notable characters that I honestly can't even remember. Anyway, after a little back and forth between myself and Keemstar on social media, he decided that he was going to expose me, like he does to a lot of people who disagree with his opinions. If they're content creators, he goes through their channel and tries to discredit some stuff it is that they've said. This is also with him calling me a bitch like over and over again. I don't know if that was supposed to hurt my feelings in some way, but it didn't. I literally opened almost every one of my videos saying bitch to my audience. He decides to go through my channel and then took an entire clip completely out of context to try and make me look as if I don't believe the victims of like crimes. Anyway, a butthurt Keemstar decided to take my clip completely out of context, which is really funny to me because that is something that Keemstar and his cronies love to throw at deaf noodles. You take things out of context. But when one of their own does it, it's Crickets, bitch. You thought you weren't and got one over on me, but honestly, my audience literally just turned around and was like, did you even watch the video? Because literally she is like supporting the victims the entire time. But anywho, I imagine that's the reason I got my ass blocked by Keemstar. I don't know if there's any other reason, but I'm imagining that that is the reason. So to bring you up to speed with what has happened more recently, a young girl by the name of Justine has made a video about Jake Paul, and in that video she puts out some pretty serious allegations about Jake Paul. I didn't report on the situation the moment that it happened, only because I didn't see enough evidence personally for me to say that this was somewhat substantiated, because a young lady can only provide proof that she was there, but she can't necessarily provide proof that anything happened. The fact of the matter is, unfortunately, in these kind of situations, the burden of proof is actually on the victim rather than the perpetrator to prove that it actually didn't happen. So without that kind of information, I couldn't confidently make a video in support of Justine. So beyond tweeting out Justine Paradise's video, I literally didn't have anything to say on the situation on social media. However, good old Keemstar over here had so much to say on the situation, and instead of going onto his platform and talking about it with his whole chest, or even doing the smart human thing like I did, which is to shut up about it and let's see how the story develops, he decided to quote unquote test the waters with his audience because simply he just didn't believe her. And obviously this was prior to Jake Paul putting out his statement, so at this point there was no real reason not to believe her. The most you could say about the situation is there was a lack of evidence, which I will agree, there was a lack of evidence. Anyway, what he had to say was absolutely vile and disgusting, and he wanted to test the waters with his Twitter audience before he took it to his main platform, which is where he wanted to say this stuff with his whole chest. And I said, hey, honey, why wait, okay? Let's bring it to YouTube. Let YouTube see what it is that you had to say. So with that being said, let's take a quick look at the clip from Twitter. It is that he posted basically struggling to understand the concept of how people can be R-worded orally, and that consent isn't always something that's given for oral R-word. I really struggle to believe this guy is 40 plus. I really do.
Hey guys, I need to do a drama alert today on the Jake Paul allegations. And quite frankly, I do not believe the alleged victim. And I don't want to just cover this real quick on Drama Alert without getting some pushback. Maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe I'm not seeing a certain angle to the story. That's why I'm making this Twitter video, so I can be challenged before I put it on Drama Alert in front of millions of people. But this girl is claiming that Jake Paul, was kissing her, holding her hand, led her to her room. She didn't want to do any further stuff with him. And then Jake Paul grabbed her head and started face, and within 30 seconds in her mouth. And she claims that she was. Now, how does that happen? What? Wouldn't she have to open her mouth and participate in some way for that to happen? Can't you just turn your head, or can't you just get is there some way to force on someone? I mean, she's not saying that he had a weapon and was like, you better do this. She is saying that he grabbed her head and started face and came in her mouth. I don't understand the physics here. I don't understand how that's possible. Why? Can't you get away? Is there really no way to get away? Is there really no way to just close your mouth and just not let the enter your mouth? I'm sorry, but I just don't believe this story at all. Am I missing something here? Please challenge me. Please challenge me, right? I don't want to go in front of millions of people, get called a victim blamer, and not have a piece of information that I should have. But I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It sounds like BS. Please challenge me.
Disgusting. So as you can imagine, this was met with a huge amount of backlash on social media. Majority women, I will say, were in the comment section basically saying that you have got this so effing wrong and you need to delete this because this is such a horrible way for any victim of oral R-word to be viewed under any circumstances, on any platform, under any light. But obviously, because Keemstar has a visceral hate for women, he decided to find and cherry pick the few comments from a few women who were saying that they would have clamped down with their jaw on the perpetrator's peen in order to run away. Listen, I'm 5'9" and weigh just over 200 pounds, and I swear to God, I would not clamp down on a boxer. Nope. Nope. It's more likely to put me in more danger than it is to actually help me run away or get away from the situation. And also, we forget that a lot of victims of this kind of assault are in shock when it's even happening, are surprised that this person that they like or care about is treating them in such a way. Or just sometimes we compartmentalize what is actually going on and put it in a box and pretend it doesn't happen. These are all valid coping mechanisms it is that we use in order to get over certain levels of trauma. But instead of listening to the majority of his audience who was telling him this information, he decided to find 4 comments from 4 people who co-sign his rhetoric. Well done. Congratulations. You found the minority. So then, if that wasn't enough, he jumps back onto his platform to make another video and basically spins this narrative that the majority of people were understanding of where he came from. In what planet? Literally, if you go over to his Twitter and have a look at the comments, you will see nothing but people saying, oh my God, Keem, you are ridiculous, this is terrible, shut the f up. But for some reason, in his little head, his little delusional head, he's actually got it in there that everybody was on his side, dude. They're all on his side, bruh. It's just, you know, there was a few people, he didn't think it was, you know, that he should do it. Oh, come on. You can kid yourself, but you can't kid all of us. Come on, dude.
Okay, so about 30 minutes ago, I uploaded a Twitter video talking about the Jake Paul allegations. And I basically explained why I have doubt that this story is real, and I wanted feedback from you guys before I covered it on DRAMAALERT, because I don't want to be called a victim blamer and all this other stuff, right? So I wanted to figure out what am I missing here, right? And so the majority of you guys responding to me agree with me and also don't really believe the allegations. But there is some people saying that, look, you know, you can freeze up, you know, and you can just go along with it even though you don't want to, and all this other stuff. So yeah. Look, I think the best thing that I can do is just not cover the story because I have serious doubts. And wait until there's more evidence that determines whether or not this is fake or real before I cover the story. So this is like one of those things where I'm just not going to cover because I have too much doubt, and I don't think it's fair to Jake Paul or the victim for me to go out and put out my opinion on something that is just so up in the air, questionable. So I'm just not going to cover it at all. That's my final decision. If there's new evidence and new information that swifts my opinion vastly one way or the other, then I might cover it in the future. But for right now, someone made a whole thread with a timeline proving that Jake Paul was like not even at his house on this date. Like, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just not going to cover it. I'm not going to cover it until there's more information out there. But thank you guys for all your feedback. You really helped me make a decision here.
After retweeting and then quote tweeting a few more women who didn't agree with his situation, he then decides to make a direct video response to somebody who isn't a content creator who disagreed once again with Keemstar in the way that it is that he handled things. She basically pointed the finger at Keemstar and said, hey, it's people like you who stop actual victims from coming forward because they never truly believe that they'll ever be believed. And then he just did like the most insane mental gymnastics to say that this was all a part of cancel culture. And I was just like, okay, we have potatoes. We have potatoes right here, okay? And then we have oranges. Let's compare them.
Hi, Ashley. I uploaded a Twitter video saying that I had some questions and some problems and some doubt with these Jake Paul allegations, and I asked for some feedback, and Twitter was not able to give me enough feedback to kind of change the doubt that I had and the serious questions I had about these allegations on Jake Paul. You responded by saying that I am the reason why women don't speak up. You responded by calling me a victim blamer, which I don't really understand that. I don't get that, because I didn't blame the victim for what, you know, allegedly happened to her. But I understand it. Like, this is cancel culture. This is like back in the day, people would bully people online by like calling them, you know, mean names and like picking on them. Today, we bully people by cancel culture, like what you just did. Like saying that, you know, I'm a victim blamer, you know, all the key words that are going to give you the likes and retweets. That's how we bully people today, is with our wokeness and social justice warriors and all that other shit. So I totally get it. But we have to look at everything logically. And since you're not looking at everything logically, let me just point out your flaws. This mentality of believing all victims, right, which you have, sets you up for you being a part of falsely accusing individuals of serious crimes. In this case, right? You know, if an allegation is made and it is false, you have to believe it because you believe all victims and you don't do victim blaming. So you automatically, without using your own brain, without looking at the facts and trying to come up with your own opinion, you automatically say person accused is guilty, which would cause, because we know that false allegations happen, at some point, somewhere, you have falsely accused someone of a serious crime. Yep, you're guilty of that because you're looking at the world in black and white instead of just making up your own opinion. You're a bad person.
Anyway, that's pretty much it for me telling you about how Keemstar was an absolute piece of garbage human being scumbag. But into the actual story to do with Justine Paradise and Jake Paul. Jake Paul actually did come to his social media and posted a response to Justine, basically saying that he will be taking it to the fullest extent of the law, and that verbatim that this is an out and out lie from Justine. But at this point it has become a little bit of a he said she said kind of situation, and until something is done judicially, there's literally nothing that anybody can really say here on social media. You can't choose to believe one over the other when there is literally a lack of evidence. Unlike the James Charles things, where a lot of things were substantiated by multiple and numerous individuals. So take that as you will. However, Justine Paradise did have a few words to say to Keemstar about this entire situation. This is what Justine had to say to Keemstar.
On Twitter, Keemstar literally put out a video regarding the assault, saying that it is impossible to be assaulted orally. Not just that he doesn't believe me, but that for anyone it is impossible because all you have to do is turn away. With that logic, wouldn't nobody be because all you have to do is close your legs? Are you kidding me?
Anyway, so then we get Keemstar's response, which I don't know if it's just me, but if I had been called out by somebody who was an alleged victim of a crime, when they respond to me saying something like that, or maybe taking my words out of context in some way, my first thought wouldn't be to try and sue them. But oh no, Keemstar has alerted his attorneys. So instead of trying to correct himself or correct what it was that he said, or even just say his words came out incorrectly and that was not what he was trying to say, he decides his only response is, I did not say those words verbatim, so for that reason, young lady, I am going to take you to court. So he says, and quote, Jake Paul accuser has put out a new video claiming I said it was impossible to be assaulted orally. This is false. I never made such a statement. No, Keemstar, no you didn't. What you said is, how does that happen? Wouldn't she have to open her mouth and participate in some way for that to happen? Can't you just turn your head? Is there some way to force oral on someone? Question mark. I don't understand the physics. I don't understand how that is possible. We're literally arguing over semantics here. And instead of acknowledging how that statement might have made a victim feel, you want to take them to court. All right, But anyway, that is about it. I don't really feel like I need to give my thoughts or a conclusion, because I kind of feel like I don't need to worry about what my comment section is going to look like. There's very few times in my life where I'm actually like 100% very okay with my stance on everything.
Say hi, people.
Hello, Papa.
Say hi, YouTube.
Hi, Papa.
Say subscribe.
Hi.
Say like the video.
Hi. Mommy.
And say notification bell on. Notification bell on.
Say ding the bell.
Ding bell. That's enough.
Say I'm off to bed.
Hello, Papa.
Say night night. She's like, nah, you're not gonna sucker me into that one. So with that being said, if you like this video, give this video a thumbs up. If you like it, if you don't, I don't give a shit. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification with the bell so that you guys get a notification every single time the Petty Paige posts new content. If there was any reason on this planet why I have become the police here on YouTube for some bizarre reason, which was not a role that I wanted to take up, it's because of that little girl there. She deserves to grow up in a much better world than this. I hope you guys have an amazing day or evening, whatever the effort is that you are doing. Here is your affirmation for the day. You are not a burden. You are a baddie. Okay? One more time. You are not a burden. You are a baddie. You amazing, beautiful, badass bitch. It's been Paige. Bye.
Most of these bitches is petty.